Hello and welcome to Call and Contact Center Expo 2019. I'm here at the RingCentral booth and I'm joined by Julien Rio. Julien, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. This has been an amazing event so far for us, so pretty excited to be here with you guys today.
Yeah, I was about to say how are you finding the event, but I wanted to talk to you. Obviously, Call and Contact Center Expo, one of the big themes is customer experience and CX, so I wanted to understand obviously how you previously were at DeMello and now been acquired by RingCentral, what you're seeing in terms of trends within the market.
But what we really see here is that everyone, as consumers, we are using digital channels on a daily basis. And now you have all these new generations who were born with these digital channels, who were born with a smartphone, playing with it when they were kids. And we are using these digital channels, whether you're talking about social media, about WhatsApp, about Facebook Messenger, all the things, we use this on a daily basis. And that starts to go to the business side of things as well. And we tend to expect to have this customer experience to be blended with digital channels. And that's pretty much the trends we're seeing everywhere around the show today.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point, isn't it? So digital channels, as you said, we're talking about maybe text, social media, chat, all of those channels outside of voice. And as you said, there's been a real rise in the consumer world in terms of use of these technologies, and businesses more and more are needing to adopt these into their customer service platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you just think that 80% of the adults nowadays are using messaging apps on a daily basis, you just can't afford not to have your brand available for your customers on the channels they are using every single day. So that's a big trend, and that's what we are trying to help brands to understand, to realize, and we provide them with the tools to actually make it happen, create this connection, this engagement with their own customers through the channels they favor.
Yeah, and the platform that I wanted to ask you about that you've developed at RingCentral that develops from that is RingCentral Engage Digital, which obviously covers those digital channels. It makes a lot of sense.
That is correct. So basically, RingCentral Engage Digital is a unified platform that aggregates messages coming from all the digital channels, whether we are talking about social channels, messaging channels, traditional, email, live chat, forums, review platform, all this kind of thing. We just aggregate all these messages within one unified interface, and using artificial intelligence and machine learning, we automatically allocate messages based on the content and the context of the messages to the right agent to provide the most accurate and the fastest possible response to the end customer.
And that's really important, isn't it? Because what we've seen previously or traditionally within businesses is you might have different sections of a contact center aligned to different communication channels, whether that's one handling SMS or social media, and you guys can consolidate all of that and really find the best agent regardless of the channel.
Absolutely. And it did make sense in the past to have all these different silos because you had to bring a new technology on board every second quarter, every second semester. So you had this new technology, so you had to build the silos. Nowadays, it doesn't make sense anymore because customers are looking for consistent customer experience across all the different channels. And that only happens if you can bring everything together within one unified interface so that you have the same message, the same analytics, much easier to bring on new channels because you don't need to train people over and over again. That's all about the customer experience and also the costs that you're saving from a company perspective when you can bring all together instead of having multiple point products.
And I suppose it makes it a lot easier for your customers to transition to these digital channels effectively because they don't have to necessarily look at all of them at once. They can add those services on as soon as they're ready to adopt a new channel.
Exactly. That's basically what we're seeing on the market today. We work with large enterprises. We work with over 50 telcos around the world. We work with banks, insurances, and they all have the same way of rolling things out. They start with 2 or 3 different channels that make sense for their business. They make their agents comfortable getting used to the interface, and then after this, it's just so much easier to add a new channel on top anytime you need to communicate with your customers on new digital channels. You just plug a new one. You don't have to change anything, and then it flows as it has been flowing in the past. And it's just easier to keep track of what your customers want and adapt to their expectations.
And what's the reaction been like to the platform at events like this and generally with the industry? Are you getting a positive feedback from customers and potential new customers as well?
It is actually pretty fantastic. We get so many people coming over trying to understand, okay, now I know that my customers, my consumers, I know they want digital, I know they use Facebook, I know they use WhatsApp, but how do I do it efficiently? The question keeps coming back, and the fact that we have one platform that allows you to unify all of this and have the full vision of who your customers are across so many different channels, being able to satisfy them on all these channels while having the entire vision of what's happening, is really a big change in the industry, and we got fantastic feedback from the audience and from people coming visit us on our booth.
That's a really good point you make there as well. In terms of visualizing and analyzing the data, that's an area that I know you're really focused in within the digital channels, and that's really important as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you just can't analyze things if you have 5 different products doing different things.
They're completely separate.
Completely separate. You're going to have different metrics, but also different way of calculating those different metrics. So you won't be able to compare things. You'll never have the big picture. While once you start integrating everything within one platform, and this platform is connected to your CRM, your BI, your BPM, your chatbots, and so on, then everything starts flowing together. You have the big picture, and you can start really controlling your activity, making decisions, and changing your flows based on your understanding of what's happening in your contact center and what your customers actually expect from you.